right. Okay. Mute. Hello, hello, hello. Let me put it on live chat. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I know this is earlier than I'm normally on. I may still be going on later anyways. It's 3 o'clock. Yeah, I probably will be going on later anyways. Because I think I need to do our initiation class tonight. Because I kind of, not that I forgot that Beltane is tomorrow night, but Cassie wants me to go out and help her with some things and stuff. So I'm going to probably be doing a ritual tomorrow night out at Cassie's house. And so I think I'm going to go on and finish up the ritual initiation class tonight. So, hi. Hello, Stephen and Trevor and Dylan and Sherry Bug, Witchy in the Woods. Hi. Hi, Janice. How are you? Hi, Yes. Hi, Ayana. Why are you not outside? It's not really warm here. It's kind of warm, but it's on the verge of rain. It's been raining on and off, and it's super, super windy. Like, as a matter of fact, I shut my window because it's super windy. Have we had homework for the initiation classes? Not for a little while. I will be making up homeworks, a couple, just to kind of overview what we have done when I didn't have homeworks. But we haven't for a while. I think there was 4 total or 5 total homeworks. I think I'm making up a class guide now, to, so that you can go through it. So yes, Friday is technically Beltane, but like every pagan holiday, we celebrate every pagan holiday from dusk the night before until dusk the night of. So Beltane technically starts on Thursday at dusk. So tomorrow at dusk. I can't believe it. I still keep going. Is it really tomorrow? Yes, it is. Apparently it's tomorrow. So I'll be starting to celebrate, and since I'm going out tomorrow to help Cassie with the barn and going through the stuff in the barn, then I said, why don't we do a Beltane celebration then tomorrow too? So yes, that's okay. It's okay to be unprepared. Springtime already had 100-degree weather. Ugh, what? Was the element one the last one? The last homework? Yes, I believe so. That sounds right. It sounds correct. It's not the last video we've done, but it's the last homework that I assigned so far. Bob, I miss you too. I know, it stinks. I wish you could come out now. I'm sure you're probably working, but I wish you could come out tomorrow, because we could like do a ritual and make a point of like staying 6 feet and stuff. But I know it's probably not a good idea. I know. You're not working? Well, I know we would love to have you out there to celebrate. And we'll try to like make sure that we have everybody 6 feet apart and do the best we can. But it's up to you. We'll talk. All right, so let's talk a little bit though about what is Beltane. Because if you have, so some of us have dedicated. That's good. Are you eventually doing initiation for those folks? Yes, who wish also. Yes, I am. Yep. I'm working in my Book of Shadows today. Did a shaker jar. Yay! Good. Scott would have to say yes. Yeah, I know. If the VP can visit a hospital without a mask. Exactly. If our vice president can visit a hospital without a mask, I think we can figure out how to do 6 feet away with masks. So it's not at the shop though. We're going to be doing it at her house because we got to go through the barn and specimens and that kind of thing. So is the initiation into paganism? Yes and no. It's the initiation part of it. The self-dedication was for you to self-dedicate into your path. The initiation is to initiate yourself into my coven specifically. So the stuff that I teach, which is really, I teach you to learn your path. But you have to be comfortable with me. Okay. Hi, Red Rum. How are you? Okay. And that's okay because we're not doing the initiation for Beltane. I'm postponing it until we're ready. And I'm not going to put a date on it specifically because it's taken us a while to be ready. Be right back. Need coffee? No problem. All right. So if you have followed my channel for over a year, then you will have seen, some Beltane videos because I do them every year, every holiday, every Sabbath. I try to do at least one video to talk about what the Sabbats are about and what we are celebrating. And as usual, well, you can't really see the wheel right now because I've been trying to get stuff done, but so the Sabbath that we're celebrating is here at the bottom. See the green man at the bottom here? That's the Sabbath that we're celebrating. It is directly opposite of Samhain. And we are celebrating, I don't know. Yes, I probably have the book, but I have to go back and look at the video, and I really don't have time to do that. But I have, you can always go back and watch last year's. It's okay. It might help if I showed the wheel. So we are celebrating the turning of the wheel yet again. The changing of a season, the beginning of a new point in time. We are celebrating you see my plate with ketchup on it, and I had a cheeseburger. We are celebrating several things. The first of which is because it is directly opposite of Samhain, we're celebrating that the veil is very thin again. The 2 times of the year that the veil is thin is Samhain and Beltane. Now, I believe, and you are welcome to say that you don't feel that. That's okay. Again, if it works for you, it works. I believe that there are 2 realms that we have veils to, and one is the Fae realm, the realm of the Fae, and one is the realm of the underworld. So for me, I feel very close to the realm of the underworld at Samhain. And at Beltane, I feel very close to the realm of the Fae. And to me, it's 2 different, it's like the opposite end of the spectrum. Just like it's opposite on the wheel. So from Samhain to Beltane is exactly opposite. And so when I feel that veil thinning, I feel the Fae much more in the time of Beltane and Litha. And not so much the time of the dead. Although I will say that because your intuition and your magic, hi Shauna, because yep, absolutely, Red Rum, and we'll get there for sure. Let me get out what I got to say first, and then we will talk about other questions and stuff for sure. Because your intuition and your magic should be intensified because of that closeness to the veil. That means that your ability to see other realms should be increased, and that also means then the undead. So you may see that you get more visits from people who have crossed over still. I not so much, a little bit. If I focus on it, I find that I can reach out easier than I can like at other times of the year. But for me, it's much more about the fae at this time of the year than it is for the other veil for me. So because that veil is thin, one of the things that you can do to celebrate is to actually create a veil that you then symbolically walk through. As a matter of fact, it was in one of my books that I was looking at. I think it's this one. And you can do that with, with like tulle fabric, or like I have used for a couple years. Can you see? Hold on. I don't know if you can see it. This is like an old 70s curtain that is made out of beads, you know, a bead curtain. I've used this for several years for the Beltane veil. And so then when you are, you can use tulle fabric though too. See this picture here, she used tulle fabric, and then she decorated one side with flowers and stuff for the fae on one side, and then left it plain on the other side. Hi, Gypsy. So that it kind of gives you a sense of that veil being thin. So that's the first thing to think about, is that the veil is thin during Beltane, and then Samhain the other. Yep, hang up your wedding dress, right? Absolutely. Could you do a mini one? Absolutely, you could do a mini one for sure. Just like you could do a mini maypole, that kind of thing. Absolutely, for sure. And if it works for you, it works. So the veil is thin. That's number one. For us, now it's supposed to be the beginning of summer. Is supposed to be Beltane. I will tell you, around here, I'm still waiting for spring. I got one day that was really nice, and I did my outside video and stuff, and since then it's been back to cold. Today is a little bit warmer. It's in the low 50s today, but it's super windy and it's been raining on and off. So that's okay. I understand, Shauna. So much for spring and summer. I know. Usually, and I will say Beltane usually, that's okay. Hide that, Barb girl. Usually at Beltane, we're starting to have leaves and stuff, so you can actually see that things are changing. And we barely have little buds on the trees. There's zero leaves, zero, except, you know, the pine trees that keep them. So zero though. And there's like, I haven't been able to plant anything. Usually after Ostara, when I know that we're not going to have frost, I can, you know, plant stuff. Yep. Haven't been able to plant anything. So I keep waiting. I think maybe next week, if it continues to warm up, I'll actually be able to plant stuff. I don't know for sure. I'm hoping, because I've had enough. I'm so sick of this weather. I have had it. I feel a little bit better because at least this week I was able to get outside, but I'm not. Yes, I have, Red Rum, and we can talk, honey, but I want to get through this first. We're supposed to start getting 70s. Ooh, that'd be nice. Last year was totally different. We still have snow. There was so much snow this year. I know. Did that link post okay? Do I see a link? Leanne, you know why? Hold on. Let me put, you're on your other account. I'm going to add your moderator to this one too. So now, hopefully, if you post a link, it'll post. Hopefully. There. Okay. So now you're a moderator on this account too. Okay. So let's talk though about what else Beltane means, right? So we are supposedly celebrating the beginning of summer. Let's put it out on the table there, because I had one of my admins said they don't really connect to this Sabbath, so they're kind of skipping it. And of course I was like, oh, you're skipping a Sabbath? Now, if you skip a Sabbath because you were super busy and you don't have time and stuff, it's okay. The end of the world is not going to happen. But to hear somebody say they don't connect with one of the Sabbats, I'm like, what? Because you guys all know me. Every time a Sabbath comes up, I'm like, oh, this Sabbath is like my favorite. This is my favorite. And there's a reason for that, because I so embrace the turning of the year, the turning of the wheel, put it out on the table. I so embrace that change every time that a new Sabbath comes up. It's the cycles are changing, and to me that is super exciting. I know I'm a goofball, but it's super important to me to see those changes, to see when things change, that because I see the cycles of life in everything that I do, I see that wheel. The wheel is super, super important to me. And I see those cycles in everything that I do. So to hear that someone may not like, especially Beltane, because Beltane, like Samhain and Beltane are pretty close for me. I always made sure I had off of work. Like I didn't take off of work every single Sabbath, but you better believe Beltane and Samhain for sure are like my favorites. I love them. So it was funny to me. So, and I think partly because when people talk about Beltane, I think the first thing that they talk about is sex. Because let's be honest, that's sex sells, right? And before I go on, I want you all to click that like button for me. We have 30 people here, which is awesome during the day, and only 12 likes. Click that like button so we can get more people in. Sex sells. So, of course, yes, that is part of this holiday. And why is that part of this holiday? Because it's the fertility. It is, everything is warming up. The sun is coming out. We are planting things and hoping that that fertile ground helps things to grow. And so the idea of the god and goddess performing the great rite, doing the do, that helps the rest of the earth to remember what fertility is, to remember to grow, to plant that seed, to fertilize the seed, to make it grow into something that we can then use further. And so that's why way back in the day, the farmers and the people used to have sex in their fields because they wanted to remind the crops what that was. They wanted to say, hey, look, I'm going to be an example for you. Fertilize these crops. We want stuff to grow. So, of course, and with the maypole, sex is the first thing we think of. And we hear stories of the great rite. That's one of the biggest principles of paganism, is the cycle of the god and goddess and their union, and then the god's death, and then all that whole cycle really begins kind of, even though it's a wheel, so there is no ending, no beginning. There is that's the beginning really of the whole cycle, right? And then it kind of goes from there. Is this the witch's version of a mom explaining the birds and the bees? That's right. The great right. That's right. So last year, my husband and I said we should go out in our garden, but didn't, and our garden was a bust. Oh, there you go. You got to go out and do it then, right? Yes, I have partaken before also. And I will tell you that the years that I do that, things tend to grow better. So, is it an old wives' tale? Is it an energy thing? Why wouldn't that help? If you're going to put that energy out there and attract like energies, scientifically, energy attracts energy. So because of that, why wouldn't that help? Of course it would help, because we're attracting that fertilization energy to our fields, right? So yes, that is absolutely part of it, but that's not all of it. And I think that if we get bound up in the sex aspect of it, then some people get turned off by that, and I feel so bad, because it's much more about what that creates. It's much more about the creating life. It's much more about making things grow, about seeing the wheel turning and how winter is so bland and there's no leaves and finally things are starting to bud and blossom, and what that fertility means for us today. It's funny, I was kind of meditating and thinking about COVID-19 and how we are seeing the environmental aspects of COVID-19, um, and how much good, yes, it's much more fertilization than sex. Absolutely. We are seeing the environmental aspects of what happens when we aren't so much polluting and so much, so many people are staying home. And so, again, we're seeing fish in the canal in Venice, and we're seeing the LA skyline like it's never been seen before, without the smog. It's amazing. And part of that is all of a sudden we're having a hard time with our food. We have heard suddenly that our meat processing plants are in trouble. Because of the way they are working together, they are rampant with COVID-19. And so many of them have had to close, although apparently our president is going to force them back to work somehow. I'm not really sure how that's going to work, but it made me think that so many of us are not growing things, and it used to be such a big deal. It used to be that's why they had sex in the fields, because everyone had something. Even if you weren't a farmer for a living, you still grew a vegetable garden. You still grew food. You still knew the butcher. You knew the cow farm down the street because you went to him in the spring, and said and put in your order for meat for the year. And all of that still happened. And now so much of our food is processed and not really food. That all of a sudden we're having a hard time, and we're going to have to go back to, maybe we all need to start a garden again. Maybe it's time for us to think about growing things that we can then sustain ourselves with a little bit more. Thank you, Red Rum. How interesting that the processing plants are having a really hard time staying open. How interesting that all of a sudden things that used to mean something. I love when we talk about every Sabbath that comes up, I very often will say, well, back in the day, that meant something because we needed to know the sun was going to come back up, and the earth was so much darker because we didn't have the electric lights and we didn't have this. And it's funny that the earth is kind of coming back around. And suddenly we're going to have to start thinking about different ways to grow our food and going back to eating fresh food. And what does that mean? Now we are going to be relying on the weather being good, our crops being fertilized. The things that we can grow will help us to sustain ourselves throughout this time period. And to me, that is, I'm not saying COVID-19 is a good thing, but there are a lot of interesting, neat things coming out of this. That means, as a pagan, it's forcing a lot of people to think about what our earth gives us. And I'm in a nature-based religion for a reason. And it's really interesting that suddenly the things that that we are consuming are a big deal. And we really are going to have to think about, what am I putting in my mouth? What am I eating? How is it that I'm going to be able to sustain my life if this shit doesn't go away for a while? If our meat processing plants have to shut down, is there local farmers that you know that you can go to and say, okay, look, I know that you must be having a hard time. What if I, you know, buy a half a cow from you when you're ready to do that? What if it's something that, yes, exactly, Sherry Bug. It's something that we didn't have to think about. And now suddenly it is something that we can look to help us to not worry about where our stuff is coming from. Suddenly, our gas prices are dropping. In New York, not as much as other places, but hopefully I'm hoping we'll catch up. Because not as many people are asking for things to travel across the country like we were before. Well, and because of the whole thing with the oil and the Saudis and the Russians and all of that is that too. But there is less demand all of a sudden because we are learning a new way, which is really the old way. So here we are going back to the old ways. How interesting that very often we call our path the path of the old ways. So it's something to think about. The customs from Beltane, May birching, where they have the symbolism of the trees. The night before May 1st, so on May Eve, participants called May Birchers went about various neighborhoods affixing branches to the doors of houses. The symbolism of what they left was meant to indicate their sentiments regarding those who dwelled in the respective homes. To leave a gorse in bloom meant that the woman of the house had a bad reputation. This may be related to an old saying, when gorse is out of bloom, kissing is out of season. The branch of any nut-bearing tree was a sign of open promiscuity. The flowering branch of a hawthorn was a compliment, indicating that the occupants were well liked. However, any other type of thorn indicate the inhabitants were scorned. The presence of a rowan meant that all the people there were well loved. To leave a briar was an indication that the people were untrustworthy. Another May custom connected the theme of gathering is the collection of dew. So this is something that I do every May Day. Every morning on May 1st, I set my alarm for a little early and go out hopefully before the sun comes up and collect some dew from the morning grass. If you can't collect much, if there isn't a whole lot, but it's a little bit damp, I love when it's raining in the morning on May Day. That's really nice because then if you collect that, that's technically May Day dew. That's morning dew from May Day. But you're supposed to wash your face I do the dew. You're supposed to wash your face in the May Day morning dew. And that's supposed to provide you beauty throughout the year. So that's been a custom for a long, long, long time. Among the ancient Romans, the dew was sacred to the goddess Diana, who was also known as the dewy one. It was believed that the moon left the morning dew during the night. In Italian witchcraft, dew is collected from several sacred plants and then is used as a type of holy water. This holy dew water of May is believed to bestow good fortune throughout the year. In some parts of Britain, young country girls go out just before sunrise on May Day and collect dew from the plants. It's not only the young. Hello. Us crones need it too. The dew is then applied to their faces in the belief that it will keep their complexions beautiful and will remove blemishes throughout the year. So that's something that is a big, big deal at Beltane. May garlands. So many people made garlands of flowers and gave them away. There was May baskets and people used to make paper cones. I have paper. Out of a full piece of paper. If I can get one piece of paper, really? So, they'd make cones out of the papers, and they would glue them together and fill them with flowers and leave them on their neighbors' doorsteps as presents. And that was a tradition that was really nice. I would love to see us go back to some of these traditions, especially right now. How great would it be, even if you don't know your neighbors, to leave them a little cone of flowers, or a little basket for your neighbor. Yeah, that would be wonderful. Then, of course, we have the maypole. The maypole is obviously a symbol of fertility. And you hang the ribbons, and each ribbon means something different. Purity and love and passion and all that. Each color of the ribbons of the maypole means something different. And then you dance around the maypole and create, I don't like mine. I don't like mine either. I have Chainsaw Man. If I can leave Chainsaw Man a little basket of flowers or a little cone of flowers, you can leave yours even if you don't like them. Then you have this beautiful pole decorated with all kinds of different colored ribbons. We have the tradition of the Beltane fires. So at Beltane, back in the day, they created 2 fires, actually, that were apart. Chainsaw Man, yes. They were apart a little bit, not a whole lot, but a little bit, just a couple feet. And you ran through or jumped over the fire, and that was supposed to bring you good luck. You pushed your cattle through the 2 fires, and that was supposed to keep them free from disease. And the thought process at the time was that the ticks and bugs and stuff that hung onto them would not like the fires. And so if you ran the cattle through the fires, with fire on either side, which I'm sure the cattle just loved, really, poor things. They were probably terrified. But if you ran the cattle through the fires, then that would help them to be disease-free throughout the rest of the grazing period. What else? Cakes. So every year I will post in the Facebook group a picture of our cakes. Every year we make penis and really it's hard to make vaginas. I have done vaginas, but usually I do the cervix and the fallopian tubes and stuff. I make them out of bread every year, or honey cakes, or depends on what we're making. We usually make honey cakes. So it's usually like a honey bread that I make every year. And we offer that to the god and goddess every year. So we leave that outside. That's the god and goddess offering, the horned god, however you call the god, Cernunnos, Hern, Pan, the green man, all that. Okay. Love you too, Red Rum. However you call that, that is the offering that we offer to them. And then the other part of Beltane is not only is it fertility and all that, but the other part of Beltane is that the Fae, because the veil is thin, the Fae are coming out. So it is the time. It is the time to start your fairy gardens. It is the time. I have the biggest part of my altar this year actually is dedicated to the Fae. And I will, again, I know I said I was going to, and I forgot. So I'm going to post my Fae offering mound. So I make up usually, I don't know what the hell I'm going to use this year. Usually I make up a little offering mound of the greenery that has begun to grow that I can pick so far at Beltane. So usually my mint has started to grow. I haven't gone back there yet. So I have to go look and see if my mint has gone back there. But I create a little bit of a mound. Hopefully whatever flowers have bloomed. Right now I think we have violets and there might be hyacinths in the back a little bit. So I put some flowers into it, and then I will leave an offering for the Fae there on the night before. So tomorrow night I will leave a Fae offering. And that is to start off the year with them. That's okay. That is to start off the year with them on a good note. So it's definitely if the Fae is someone that you're working with, or you plan on at least giving offerings to the Fae, I would definitely leave them an offering Thursday night. Whatever it is you want. I usually make honey cakes for Beltane, and either have milk out for them, or honey mead, or what else? I always think honey, but there's a lavender. They like lavender milk. You can make them lavender milk, or lavender lemonade. But I usually save that for Litha. Strawberry, there you go. Strawberry cake and icing. Vegan alternatives. Yes, absolutely. There is. Hold on, because I just saved something on my Pinterest page. That was vegan Beltane. Hold on here. Beltane. And I'm starting to rework my Beltane page so that the food is put in separate things. But I'm not, I started it, but it's not quite there. There's my Beltane Pinterest page. Do you have posted a tried and true honey cake? I will post my honey cake recipe for sure too. Hold on, where did I put my thing? Honey cake recipe. Okay, vegan Beltane food. Hold on, ready? Honey cakes. And it depends. We like our honey cakes really sticky, so there's some sticky ones, and then there's some that, doesn't require sticky. Summer berries, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, currants, elderberries, gooseberries, loganberries, so berries, obviously. Salmon berries, Saskatoon berries, summer wines, summer greens, arugula, asparagus, cabbage, Swiss chard, collard greens, kale. And then lamb's quarters, lettuce, mustard greens, parsley. So a lot of the spinach, watercress, Buddha bowls, nut cheeses. And then herb-wise is thyme, rosemary, sage, chives, mint, nettles, that kind of thing. Basically eat like a bear in the wild. Exactly. That's exactly it. Almond milk for sure. Yep, absolutely. The Fae like almond milk. I have left that before for sure. Yes. And I will post my honey cakes recipe for sure. They're getting some honey, lavender, and blueberries this year. Perfect. The way my mom made the female male cake part was to make a caterpillar and a ladybug. Oh, that's cute. Yeah. That's okay, little dandelion. You're welcome. No problem. Okay. So the fires, the Fae, there's all kinds of things you can do with the Fae. You can, I was going to say, I can't believe it. The Beltane festival won't be going on in Scotland. That's horrifying. But they apparently are going to do some internet things. So you can still watch. I don't know. Maybe some of you won't know about this. But there is a Beltane festival every year in Scotland. There's a Samhain festival every year in Scotland. But the Beltane one, for me, is the biggest one. They crown the May Queen. And that is the Queen of the Fae. They have the Green Man, and they get together. It's amazing. It's of course, now I can't think of it. Beltane, Scotland. I'm going to write that down because I need to post that in the group. There's a whole group that do it. You live in England and you didn't know that? It's in Edinburgh every year. And it's a huge festival on a huge hill. And they have this huge ancient, like it looks like the Colosseum. And it's like my dream to one day be there for the Beltane Festival. For sure. Yes. So, hi, Kay. Yeah, you've missed some, but it's okay. I'm still going. You know me. So that's part of it. There are all kinds of, I will tell you, W.B. Yeats is a wonderful poet. He's my favorite poet, but he's a wonderful poet to find poetry of the Fae. Yeah, it's not this year. It's believe it or not, because of COVID-19, it's not going on this year. But they are doing an online thing in a much smaller scale that they will be posting online. But it's called I want to say the Beltane Society. Beltane Fire Society, I think. It's on, if you look it up on Facebook, you will find it. And it's amazing. Because it's in Scotland and they hide it from the English, right? Yes. The other thing is Morse bells. So let me see if I can find the Morse bells story in here. I don't know if Morse dancers. Here we go, 27 and 31. I didn't think to mark it. Oh, come on. Billy. So it's, you make a bracelet, or really it's an anklet with bells all in it. And you dance around with the bells in it. And it doesn't, does it say? So there's a big festival that the Celts do. I cannot believe they're not talking about it there. Hang on. It's terrible. Morse bells. And I'm trying to remember, there's a whole reason for them. Yep, and they don't even talk about it here. I'll tell you, I shouldn't say this. This book is okay. But as far as the information that I always look for, it's not the best book. This book does it for me 99% of the time. Of course, they're not going to list it, so I can't see it. But the Morse dancers come around, and there's, I posted last year, I think there's some great videos. But anyways, they're very easy to make Morse bells, and then you can put them on your ankles, and it has something to do with the Fae. You're dancing around with the Fae. Thank you, Leanne. I appreciate it. Perfect. Beltane Fire Society. Thank you. What book is not the best? I hate to say that because it's an okay book. I'm not saying it's not. It's okay. It's weird to me. It has a lot of things in there that to me I'm like, why? I don't know. I shouldn't say that because if it works for you, it works. But there's some things in here that I'm like, why are you having this in here? I don't know. I think they mix up. Speak your opinion. I think they mix up some of the traditions in this book are from other holidays. Like sometimes I'm like, that's really an Ostara thing, or that's really a Litha thing, like solstice, and not always. They have some good stuff in there, but like they talk about, in this one, they talk about the Priapek wand. And they tell you to make a Priapek wand for Beltane. Now, I hate to say it like this, but the Priapic wand didn't really go with Beltane. At least not, I mean, you can do that. It certainly looks like, you know, a penis, but it really was about Brigitte and the Brigitte bed. And that's why you put the Priapic wand in, and when it was Imbolc, you put the Priapic wand in with the Brigitte corn doll, and that symbolized their joining. So sometimes I think they just pull stuff out of their ass. That's just my opinion. My favorites are these. There's one for the light half of the year. There's one for the dark half of the year. It's Aisling O'Gaia. And these to me are my favorites. She's very good at telling you the truth. She tells you when some things were not technically correct. Like she talks, actually the maypole, believe it or not, was not really a fertility thing. I don't really go into that because it certainly looks like a fertility thing. And, you know, now it certainly seems like it would be a fertility thing, but they originally did not use that as a fertility thing. They were using it as like a spring festival thing. So, but it talks the truth. Libras speak all the opinions. My local people, Edmonton Pagan Network, are making a video playlist of past Beltanes. Oh, that's awesome. Yay. Thank you, Leah. That would be great. I hate to say it, but I will. I know. It's terrible. I really shouldn't, though, because I don't want to like make people not like it, because I want all of them. So of course I got it. And I will say there's a lot of good things in here too. There's a lot of good like recipes and stuff. There's good, I'm not crazy about the rituals either. Although there's good portions of the rituals that then you can take and, you know, make your own. I don't know what it is about this book. But here's the thing. This is also Llewellyn. These are also Llewellyn. These are the old Llewellyn books, and I'm not sure if it is out of print or not, but this Llewellyn series to me is way better. Way better. So if you have the opportunity to get the bigger Llewellyn series that's older, I like, it's not all crap. I like this series better. My favorite for the Sobbits is Aisling O'Gaia, though. So, just so you know, that's my favorite. Yes, it's not all crap, for sure. So, there's lots of stuff you can do with the Fae. You can make a little fairy garden and dedicate it to them. You certainly should do some kind of offering. You can symbolically go through a veil that you make for this side of the Fae and that side of the Fae, for the Fae being able to come through the veil. You can, I usually have all kinds of songs and stuff for the Fae. I did post my Beltane playlist on the Facebook page. So if you want to see it, it is there. Because I went to look for it, and I didn't see my Beltane playlist on my old account, you know, the account that I keep all that on. So I had to make up a new one. If you want to make your own short ritual for Beltane and you're on your own, what do you feel are the 3 most important things to include? Okay, so for me, I so regret not buying a fairy garden that was on sale at Wally World. First of all, Dollar Tree. Your Dollar Trees have amazing little fairy houses and little fairy benches, and go look. If you have Dollar Tree anywhere near you, go look at Dollar Tree, and they're all $1. My whole, Dollar Tree altar came from Dana, and also Family Dollar, I think she said, has some, or Dollar General. I can't remember which one, but your Dollar Trees. About to go bitch slap my neighbors downstairs. Oh no, Bob. So the 3 The three most important things I would say is some kind of decoration or offering to the Fae. If you work with them at all, that's going to be a big deal because you're welcoming the Fae back into this realm for the light half of the year. And if you at all believe in the Fae, if you at all work with the Fae at all, you need to leave them some kind of offering. Just right off the bat. The other thing I would say is welcoming the fertility of the god and goddess. So if if you're not a god and goddess person, welcome the fertility of the earth back. Bring in some kind of male female energies together, whether that's a wand that you put into a goblet, so the wand or the athame into the goblet, which then creates that fertility rite, or the seed and water and sun and that kind of thing, somehow bring some kind of fertility and growth into your ritual. And then finally, it's a celebration. It's the fires are a big deal because the warmth is coming back finally. But it's a celebration of the light half of the year is here. Can it be your crystals? For sure. Absolutely, it can be your crystals. Absolutely. So you are celebrating the light half of the year returning. And how amazing and wonderful is it to have finally the light half of the year is here. For me, that's like, now don't get me wrong, I love Samhain. I love everything up until after Samhain. And then Yule and Imbolc are like the hardest things for me to get through. It's just, that dark cold, it just sucks. It's just so hard for me. So, but I would celebrate the warmth and the return of the sun and the light half of the year. And the turning of the year is so important, that cycle continues. That I adore that part of it. Okay. Any other questions? I wasn't really going to show you guys these, but I got my soap dispensers. I got new soap makers, soap molds for because Cassie and I want to start making soaps, and I thought they were so cute because they do bees and we can make honey soap. So today my new soap molds came in, and they're so cute with the flowers and the bees. Aren't they great? So I can't wait to start making my soaps again. I'm pulling stuff out. I love this time of year and also summer, but I do adore the dark. I do too, Kay. It's funny. The dark is not what bugs me. It's the cold. And even after like a long summer and stuff, I like it, the cold for a little while. It's Yule. Once Yule is over, I'm like, okay, go away. It can start warming up a little bit. It's North Carolina. If I could have North Carolina's weather, that would be a little better because you can still see the seasons and it gets cold, but it's not like frozen gray for months. And here we are. It's almost May. It's almost May, for God's sakes. And it's still like 40s around here. Tops. Today is warmer. Finally, it's like 52, 53, but it's still bleh. Maybe if you make some little icing or chocolate molds with those, yeah, you can put them on top of your honey cakes. That's true. Absolutely. Because these can, because of their silicone, you can bake with them and all kinds of stuff. And there's 2 in here. So absolutely. So, I will go through and post all the stuff that I said I would post. I did post the Beltane, who the heck is here? I did post the Beltane playlist. So the music for Beltane is there. Who the heck is here? Somebody is putting something into our mailbox. And he had a glove on, but he's in a normal car. I'll have to go out and check. I do not know what that was. It's a bomb. So anyways, the fair at your doorstep, I know, right? Maybe put little dandelion flowers in the soap. Hell yeah, absolutely. And a little bit of honey and a little bit of, we'll have some good soaps for sale very soon. Yay. All right. Tonight, later, I'm going to be doing probably around 8:30. I'm going to be doing the second part of the ritual initiation class. And then we will, idiots. Then we will, Friday, or I think Friday, we're going to be doing ritual. So we will be doing a live ritual on Friday. I'm not sure what time yet. People haven't gotten back to me yet, but I would assume Friday night probably. Will you be making your dandelion oil? I will. For sure. Too bad you can't be at the shop. I know. It would be great. So how many hours is that from now? I would say it's about 4 hours from now will be the initiation, probably. Somewhere like that. What's the idea, Leolyn? I almost called you Leolyn. Leanne. Make sure everybody hits that like button again for me. Oh, I have 2 dislikes. Woohoo! People dislike me enough to get on. I love it. 1 a.m. for me. It's all right. You can always watch it back. I thought we could listen to Beltane music in a watch party. Oh, that's a good idea. As a part of Beltane, that's a really good idea. Let me look into it and see if I can do that through Google Music or something. That would be great. Who dare dislikes you? That's a great idea, Leanne. I like it. Trolls, they like to be haters. I seriously, I don't mind when they, because that means that I'm enough of a threat. And I know I've said this before, but if they like literally get on to click the dislike button, that means I'm a threat. I'm a threat to them. That's fine with me. I don't mind being that. All right, there's 42 on. Press that like button for me. Because the veil was blinding their sight. Spiral dance. Oh, me too, Elaine. I love that. Means they're watching. That's right. All right, so we will see you guys in another couple hours for initiation class. 4 hours or so. And I love you guys. And yay, blessed Beltane. Tomorrow night, technically. Woohoo! Love you guys. We'll see you later.